Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is COVID and I'll be your host. Today we're playing Dominions 5. We're reviewing a game that's already in progress, and this is my pretender. I spoke to Arco about this pretender design before I joined this game, and he signed off on it. So it's my idea, but it's Arco approved. And Arco, for those of you who don't know, was the winner of Lucid's first World Tournament and is in a good position to win the second World Tournament, arguably the best player of the game. So I've got imprisoned Fallen, and I've taken him in prison so that I can get some scales and a decent bless without him killing my pop. This guy is a major pop killer. You don't want him hanging out in your own areas. And being in enemy areas is kind of a bad place for a god. Alright, so I went with Shock Resist. This guy starts with Blood and some Dominion, and going more than 2 additional paths is just really, really taxing on your points. We're playing EA Hinnom, and some scales really pay off. I was able to take Misfortune 1. You pay for Fortune Teller on a lot of your research mages, and that's already built into their cost. So in order to be more efficient with paying for my researchers, I'm going to get some mileage out of the Fortune Teller, and I can dump a little bit in Misfortune. We're not going to go crazy. We're not going to go Misfortune 3 and get the super bad events, but Fortune Teller more often than not will save you from the worst of Misfortune 1 scales. One of the issues I have playing EA Hinnom is getting Hell Bless rushed from like Vanheim or some of those nations that can, rainbow up some Sacred Cavalry and just come stomping on you. So I took Magic 3 so that I can actually research the spells that will help me deal with issues like that. The guy's already got Blood. Blood Surge is a no-brainer. I did want the Blood Smite as opposed to the other smites, so I had to make that path a little higher than the others. Undying, for 4 death points, it's either that or Wither Weapons, and Wither Weapons just doesn't do enough to pay for itself against generic troops. For my giants who hit hard enough that they're probably already smacking other SCs around and thugs, they don't really need to decay thugs, which is the main reason you take Wither Weapons. And against normal human opponents or whatever, smacking them and they die before they ever get old. So the Undying will be beneficial once I put some Rings of Regen on my Melquarts. Alright, so there's the god. Let's jump into the game. I didn't discover how to auto-archive turns until turn 5 of this game. So we will jump in, not at the exact beginning, but the first couple turns you're just doing some expanding. So we'll go through this turn real quick. We'll see how long the video is. This is my first Dominions video. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let's take a look. Alright, so it's turn 5. We're doing, the generic expansion. This is a map nuke noob game. We have Macone, Katis, Niflheim, Pangea, Russ, Ulm, Ermor, Hinnom, and Caleb. Let's take a look at the battle. So after many, many hours of single player testing, I've got the perfect distance for my javelins and my swordsmen. Right about the time the javelin are done throwing their spears and make contact, the swordsmen will have reached them. So these are on hold and fire, these are on hold and attack, and my prophet's on Sermon of Courage, and then claim life, claim life, claim life. So it's just some generic indies. The archers aren't really able to hurt my giants very well. If they hit one of the light javelins, they'll do some damage. I did buy some of the heavier armored javelins just to decrease the risk to the light guys. So they deal with those indies relatively well. They should. It's an expansion army. Kind of how the game's set up. Not attacking into a harder indie like Barbs. And then the puny humans run. Alright. So my Misfortune 1 is starting to happen. It's hurting me a little bit here and there. Let's take a look at how it's been going. All right. So to my north is Niflheim. To my east is Ulm. To my west is Pangaea, or Pangaea. And to my south is Caleb. In my initial expansion, I always expand into a normal indie province, so I can recruit normal indie commanders to lead my follow-up expansion armies. So that's the first thing I saw here. Saw some normal indies. I took them over. Saw this was a province with houses, which typically means higher population, so I took this over. Right as I took Vangar here, I noticed that they had Jade Amazons here. So I'm like, okay, I've got decent idea what I want to do with those sacred Oropadas. So about that turn, I queued up a priest. In order to get the sacred Oropadas, I need a temple. So I built a priest. Well, that left me with one commander point left, and I didn't want it to go to waste. So I recruited a second commander. Normally I don't do this. Normally the indie commanders are sufficient for expansion, but I didn't want that commander point to go to waste. So I have an above average commander here, and then my starting commander that I turned into a prophet. My scout went out west to see who was here. We found Ulm, and with some diplomacy, we made a nap 3 and kind of a little alliance. So off with my poor scout to go see what's going on with the rest of the world. So for my next go here, I'm taking this province. In Map Nuke Maps, the enemy capital is 3 provinces away from yours. There's a lot of neutral territory that's in between you at 2 spaces away. So I want to secure as many provinces 2 away from my cap as I can, because that is the contested border with all of your neighbors on a Map Nuke map. All right, so my scales are giving me decent income. Got a nice little population. Got the 2 order, the 2 production. The heat's going to come down in the winter. It's going to give me better tax revenue. And that's that turn. All right, let's take a look at turn 6. One thing I didn't mention, but was apparent on the other map, I sent out a Horite for early site searching. They have 3 paths. You can get a lot of sites off nature and earth. It's just a great cross path searcher. He doesn't research that well. Don't want to stick him in my cap, but I like to create one early to find any death sites I can. And sure enough, he pays off big. He finds a magic site in Vanguard, and this is really going to set the stage for several of the turns up into the point where the game where I'm at right now. This has been a huge find, and we'll go into that in just a second. Macones finally proclaims their prophet. Turn 6 is a little late. Guess they had other things going on. And we have battle in Troll Peaks, a battle in Bagaloth, and a bump in Bagaloth. Alright, let's take a look at Troll Peaks. Alright, so this is how my generic expansions go. I try to get, because I have a better troop commander, I actually put them in a line formation. Otherwise, they'd be sitting in a box with this little indie commander. And I put them on hold, hold, hold at the top back corner here. And hold and attack or hold and fire here. Let the indies come up. The commanders stay back relatively safe. If enough troops die, the commanders can hopefully retreat. Pick up another army. I do have the game sound turned off. If that is too distracting, I can always turn it back on. Alright, let's speed up because it's just some normal guys. And the spears do great work. Again, I went with the heavier spears. They're just a little bit more durable. They take less attrition. They don't move as fast, but in a Map Nuke map, I just really need to get 2 provinces out, and these guys are plenty fast for that. Alright, to the next battle. This is a big one. We see Kalem's God. He's already taken some damage. He's got a chest wound. Now this is a noob game. I don't want to comment too much on my builds or other people's builds, because maybe this is, super effective in his test games. Maybe he's just learning the game. Maybe I'm just learning the game. But this is Kalem's build. And he's going against some normal indies. Now you know I bump afterwards, so you know he wins this one. We'll just fast forward it. Boom, flies rear, and he just tramples. Not bad for expanding. Uh, the low path means he could do scales Calum. A lot of people do scales, especially EA Calum. Alright, so it's my prophet's army, the initial army, versus his god, who does cast Twist of Fate, and one cast a Flying Shard, so he's casting twice, and then attacking rear. Boom. He's trampling me, immediately just getting stabbed with the swords. Now, he does have Dominion in this area, so he's got, or maybe it's neutral Dominion. Okay. Giant's a little harder to trample than silly human indies. Trample. Oh, there he, oh, now he's getting beat up. Still at half HP. Boom. Gets stunned. That's death right there. I do believe he picked up a second affliction there. Wasn't a super bad one, but it was an affliction. I'm not looking for war with Calum. This is only turn 6. I got a lot of expanding to do. So we negotiate kind of a truce and the land exchange. I had no idea I was going to bump his god there, but I felt confident that my force could take his initial forces. I do want this lizard province. I want it badly. But look what we discovered here. This changed so much. This is the Castle Arcanum. This is basically like a second cap right off the get-go. It made the province income go up. It's got tons of production. Now I can really go scales. I can just pump out the troops in numbers that nobody can match at the moment. Turn 6 having your own second fort and a better than normal fort. That changed my plans here. Once I saw that, I was like, well, there's no point in building a fort here because so many of the resources are already going to be leached away by this one. So this guy, waste of investment. He's got to go back now. I'll try to find use for him later. This is still a healthy and hardy army, so it's going to try to expand into the Lion Tribe. Lion Tribe pretty garbage. And again, I want to secure as many of the 2 province borders as I can. So weak indies is a way to go. I talk to Caleb and say, hey, I'm going to go here. This one's mine. Ulm and I agreed. I actually gave Ulm both the thrones in exchange for the 3 in between. Again, I didn't want to mess with giant killers. I don't need throwing axemen just tearing me apart. So let's see. What are we building? Now we're building the lighter guys. For the second wave, as I want it to catch up with the other one, I need the additional movement of the lighter javelins. I'm building a lab so I can double my mage production. And since I can't produce mages just yet, I'm just pumping out the troops as much as I can. 6 giants a turn there. 10 something giants there, 12, something like that. And that has been turn 5 and 6. Thank you for bearing with me, and let me know what you think. Have a great day. Hello and welcome to my channel. My name Hello and welcome to my channel. Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Hello and welcome to my channel. My name Hello and